There has been a terrifying level of uncertainty for many human beings during these changing times. To be at peace in the midst of transformation, you must find the calm that guides you into what will be, because the future exists now. To appreciate the full breadth of the transformation that is underway, it is necessary to have a clearer understanding of the actual foundations of the story you are in. Let us begin. Once upon a time, Gaia sang a song. This song traveled in many ways, in many dimensions. You can imagine it around the sun, and you can imagine it in the undercurrents of reality that ripple and trickle into corners you don't even know exist. And this song is a calling, and the calling brought many of you here. Though you forget this time and this change, it is waiting for you to embrace like a sacred part of yourself that you have forgotten. This is a window into your soul, and to know yourself now, you must remember. Once you came, you were channeled into different stories, different times within history. You have lived through phases and rearranged places within yourself in order to come to terms with what it means to live in the material plane. This life that you are in is an extension of the sequence, the unique path you have taken here through many eras, with lessons that are both unique to you and many that are shared. And in this sharing, there has been a silence, a noticeable absence of the song that brought you here. And in this absence, there's been an empty space that has been filled by chaos and uncertainty under many circumstances. For the translation of souls into the material forces you to come to terms with new dynamics, such as space. When you live within a world with finite space, fights can erupt over which songs are dominant. And in this fight for dominance, you become a kind of being that your soul detests. Your universal presence, the love that you know to be normal and real and true, cannot stand the pain of fighting over space. This is not an absolute truth. Life here on Earth does not last in this form, because the reemergence of the ancient song has begun. Gaia has begun to sing to us again. It has started quietly and at the fringes of what you know to be real. It has begun, and it will continue to get louder. And as it does, you and those you love and those you fight with will all be presenced to a new center. This is a force you cannot change and will not overcome with any attempt to drown her out. Up until this point, you have largely been shaped by the course of the fights over which song to sing. And now, this fight is over. It is not only unnecessary, it is an impossibility that your assertiveness within her presence can outweigh her presence. You have no leverage that is greater than hers. You have no volume that is deeper. Your transcendence of the desire to be in control of the song is your freedom. It is the acceptance of the reality that you inhabit and the acknowledgement that this is her space. She may sing her song. And as she sings her song, waves of intensity travel through everything you have known to be real. Old forces and old rivalries are shoved to the surface by undercurrents that go well beneath what has been normal up until this point. And oddly, those who fight with each other have suddenly found a common dream: to escape the power of this new passionate wave of song. You both share this dream. And thus, in the reemergence of your fight, you actively find a new camaraderie. You get in touch with the emotional presence of other beings who, much like you, wish to escape the drama and the anguish of this transformation. And in this affinity, you will find a new kind of bond. And this will be the story of the next 10 years. Old stories rising to the surface to fall apart. The entirety of people's fear and passion and hope presenced and ripped apart by the currents of Gaia's song. She is singing through the existence of what you have known to be most real. She is annihilating the power of the passions that have driven wars and hatreds for centuries. And yet, the acknowledged backlash to this experience is that many beings will immediately seek to reinforce your investment in the ways that are fading. It is as if you were attempting to bring to life a dead skin, breathing sustenance into something that no longer knows how to receive it. And yet, many will continue to try, and as they do, they will find the greatest traction in asserting themselves against old enemies. And again, oddly, their enemies will be grateful. For in this fight, there is a familiarity, there is something deeper than this life itself that knows how to be. And yet this beingness deteriorates as rapidly as it is brought to the surface. This beingness has no strength in relation to the currents of the new song. And this new song rips through old stories, and it becomes the course of humanity to embrace it once again, to remember your soul and to acknowledge within yourself that the passion of the life that is possible in our future will breed. And it is up to each of us to invest in it and to acknowledge the transformation, watching as chaos erupts in the cultures we inhabit. For the gods and angels and spirits of the earth are with you now. We are no longer keeping our distance because our presence has a place. We exist, we thrive within this song. Our very presence is a music that brings to life exactly what you most fear, that it might be dissolved and resolved. To understand and appreciate the potential of this new time, you must be at peace, as many around you feel and remain terrified of their greatest and most haunted visions of what is possible. You have the power to mitigate this drama by remaining conscious of the truth of the dream that you know is already here. By breathing life with the new song in whatever form it reaches you, you inhabit the future. And in so doing, you bring life into circumstances that are falling apart. You represent the new era in a manner that ripples through all that would stand in its way. To be at peace with the drama and the pain that erupts in the personal and the shared stories around you, you must witness them as that which is leaving. Remembering that they are indeed fighting in order to avoid the power of the current of the new song. They do not know this about themselves. They are reacting before they become conscious to what is true. Please be present. You have the ability to change and enhance the lives of so many people you love simply by making this shift. By adjusting your attention to focus on the hope of a future that is present. You do not need to preach. You do not need to pander. You do not need to adjust to anything other than the earth herself. And this is not a complicated fascination. Prioritize your presence. Prioritize the currents of the weather and the way you feel as you awaken. Tend to the greatest fears and pains you experience as if they will leave you soon. As you invest your hope in this way, you influence those around you such that they will come to you when they are ready for more, such that they will need you to facilitate their transformation, and yet the language in which this occurs and the manner in which you choose to share are not as crucial as the living presence of the light that you make real by inhabiting this new truth. Where is the song? It is all around you. Why is this song here? Because it is time. To notice yourself amidst the confusion of the currents that are transforming now is to recognize how to enhance your influence. To know yourself amidst the currents of transformation that are already underway is to breathe in rhythm and harmony with the earth herself, and to celebrate her presence with the deepest of smiles, to recognize her care for you, and to embrace it as you would a long-lost heart of your family. You have been invited to be family here. You have been invited to embrace the deepest life experiences. You are invited to sing this song with her as she reemerges to claim her space